Greetings and salutations. My name is OJ as always, and welcome back to another episode of the Overwatch-a-thon, a series of videos where I go over every single character in, well, Overwatch. I'll be covering their lore and personality, their gameplay and abilities, as well as their designs and cosmetics. And with all of that preamble very quickly done and dusted, today's object of obsession is the horse that Peter Griffin bought. The hero and defender of Numbani, Orisa. Now, as I do in every single one of these videos thus far, I'd like to start by talking about Orisa's lore, background, history, whichever you want to call it, and it begins with the production of the OR-14 Edina line of security robots built in Nigeria's massive manufacturing omnium before the Omnic crisis. After the war, said model of robots were taken out of production, along with many of the other models used during the crisis. 20 years later, Numbani revived and recommissioned the OR-14 program to protect the city from external threats. These new OR-15s were deployed for a short time, but they were destroyed in an attack by Doomfist. Following this attack, the program was scrapped, and the civic government sold off the remaining OR-15 inventory. Some parts were purchased by an 11-year-old Ife Oladele, a brilliant girl whose early accomplishments in robotics and artificial intelligence had already earned her the Adawe's Foundation's prestigious Genius Grant. With the approval of her understanding and open-minded parents, Ife spent the bulk of her grant money to acquire one of the decommissioned OR-15 bots. She believed that Numbani needed a protector, and that an upgraded OR-15 could do just that. Ife repaired and reconfigured the robot, and installed a personality core that she had designed herself. She named Numbani's newest hero, Orisa. Though Orisa was a marvel when activated, Ife spent a long time finding her optimal protocols. The robot's inexperience could cause her to be a liability, especially in learning her own strength. But when Talon began an orchestrated attack on the city of Harmony, Ife knew Orisa's programming would likely be put to the test. Luckily, Ife had just been gifted with the final piece she needed for Orisa's defensive capabilities, a Tobelstein reactor from Lucio. While Ife was a super fan of Lucio's music, Lucio was a super fan of Ife's ingenuity. He agreed to perform a benefit concert in Numbani for the victims of Doomfist's attacks. During Lucio's concert in Unity Square, Talon struck. Orisa teamed up with Lucio to defend the concert-goers from Doomfist, who was determined to sow fear into the populace. While Orisa, Ife and Lucio succeeded in protecting Numbani, they knew peace was a gift to be carefully guarded. After expelling Talon from Numbani, Ife and Orisa met with former Overwatch commander Sojourn about what it meant to be a hero. Ife took Sojourn's words to heart, and used the experience to think out new upgrades for Orisa. As Orisa continues to grow with her brilliant creator at her side, one thing seems certain: Numbani's future is in good hands. And as of right now, that is where Orisa's lore begins to stop. There is an additional segment though, obviously with this new season and their greater focus on the story of Overwatch. Well, new season as of me making this video. They've added a section to Orisa's tab on the official Overwatch website labelled Reign of Talon, where we find out that after successfully defending Numbani, Ife and Orisa decided to join Overwatch to protect the world from Talon's advances, which is an interesting development for the two of them, and I think that's quite a good development for the two of them. Orisa is kind of a package deal. You can't really talk about Orisa without talking about Ife, but admittedly, everything I just told you already, that's about all we really know about Ife. She's not a character that we've actually met, like personally in the story. It's weird. It's neat that we have, Ife as a character and Orisa as a character by extension, but they haven't really done anything with her just yet. Like the both of them, I mean. We obviously know that she was obviously designed to protect Numbani, blah blah blah, but now that they've joined Overwatch, they haven't done anything with a big asterisk yet. The two of them will probably have some form of relevance, but as of right now, all we've really had is them appearing in pictures with the rest of the group, or the recent comic about Unrun, we got to see Ify and Orisa just sitting in the ship. So unfortunately, the two of them haven't really had anything to do yet. That could always change, and I really do hope it will, because I think Orisa is an interesting character. I found out today that she's actually apparently 1 year old. I did not know that. I guess, I mean, yeah, it makes sense, but still, like, Orisa is an interesting character, but I think she's kind of stuck in a weird place, because we'll talk about it when we get to gameplay. Orisa feels like a character that was designed with gameplay first, and her story came second. Orisa, for those that do not know, was released before Doomfist's addition to the game, and she was designed as a pinpoint perfect counter to Doomfist's eventual addition. Like, they added Orisa in advance to counter Doomfist before he came out, which I feel like that was what they wanted to do first and foremost, and then everything else just kind of came afterwards, including her story, unfortunately. It's kind of hard to talk about because she is, as of right now, kind of a potential character. You know, it's cool that we have, like, basically, for a lack of a better word, a modern day Omnic, almost. Like, it's for those that don't know, every Omnic in existence is a finite being in a weird way. Due to an event during the Omnic Crisis, all Omnics that were present at the time gained sentience. That is a finite generation. Once all of those Omnics that have sentience die, no Omnic in the future will have true, proper sentience. But Orisa, Echo, characters like that are kind of a weird way to kind of work around that restriction, because by definition, Orisa is an Omnic. She was based off of a, model of Omnics that was used during the Omnic Crisis, as we've seen in Reinhardt's cinematic. We saw it during Null Sector's invasion on King's Row as well. But like, those are Omnics. But Orisa is, like, created after the Awakening, where all Omnics gain sentience. Yet she technically has sentience. We know that her personality core was based off of, I believe, a Nigerian prime minister, I think. She was a very minor character that appeared, like, once or twice in some of the Overwatch comics. But yeah, her personality is based off of this prime minister from Nigeria, which I think is kind of cool. But it's like, she technically has sentience, but she technically doesn't. She's kind of in a weird middle ground, which I think is interesting. And it's, a cool way to work around the restriction of not being able to add another sentient Omnic, or not being able to create more of them in lore beyond the point of the Awakening. Get my point. But, like, right now, I don't know. Orisa hasn't really done anything, and hasn't done anything for nearly 10 years now, unfortunately. She's just kind of been there. And I can appreciate her as, an addition to the world. Like, we kind of get a glimpse into what Numbani is like as a city, which, for those that don't know, is about as progressive as a city as one could possibly get. And I mean that with the highest level of, like, compliment. They were, in Overwatch's lore, one of the first cities to accept Omnics after the Crisis settled, and to give them, equal rights as human beings. I still think in Overwatch's universe, they're one of the few cities that still, have equal rights for Omnics, which is absurd and crazy for Overwatch's universe, but that's besides the point. It's nice to see that, it's a nice glimpse into what Numbani is like as a city, but, like, what do I even say, like, story-wise? Like, she is a almost unexperienced protector that is, learning to protect Numbani one step at a time. But it's been almost 9 years now, and it doesn't feel like we have taken any steps, unfortunately. And, it does suck, because I think Orisa is, quite a fun character. Like, just speaking briefly of her personality, she's quite inquisitive, but it's weird, because she finds this weird middle ground between being a protector and sometimes showing, her youth. She is not very experienced with the world, and can usually obviously be quite inquisitive. But in a case where maybe someone threatens her, someone tries to, threaten Ify or Numbani, she immediately will put her horse hoof down and initiate some sort of like a protection mode almost. Ramatra has a few comments towards her being, kind of like a fake-ish Omnic, and she points out the flaws in his existence and his plan, or whenever Doomfist decides to open his mouth, which, by the way, he can't do right now, because all of his interactions were wiped out of the game after he, quote-unquote, died. So, but those interactions between the two of them always used to be quite heated because, well, obvious reasons. Her predecessors, the OR-14s, were completely wiped out because of Doomfist. So there's personal beef there. But it's like, now Doomfist has been removed from the story. Orisa doesn't even really have a rival anymore. Like, the character that she was designed to counter both in lore and in gameplay technically doesn't exist anymore, which is weird. It's kind of unfortunate for Orisa that Doomfist has gone through all of this shit from, you know, becoming going from DPS to a tank, being killed. So she doesn't have anything. She's just kind of there with Overwatch now, and she's just... We have so many people in Overwatch that need further exploration, like all of the new characters, Jetpack Cat, Wu Yang, Unrun, and as well as some of the older characters would, I think, do need some sort of further exploration. But Orisa is definitely one of them. It's like, there's so many, I'm not sure Orisa will get the chance to have the spotlight, which does kind of suck. But yeah, Orisa's lore is, you know, interesting. It's an interesting glimpse into another corner of the world. And I do have to compliment the fact that she is, well, a compliment, and I'm upset by the fact that she is one of only few glimpses into Africa as like a continent. She and Doomfist are the only two characters from Africa, and well, obviously Orisa is a robot horse, so the, you know, heritage, cultural influences are kind of a little lost on the fact, you know, she is a robot horse and not a, you know, person. So yeah, it is very upsetting that Africa, for the most part, is very, very underrepresented in Overwatch, and generally black people as a whole are weirdly represented in Overwatch. I cannot believe that we still do not have an African-American hero. I'm really hoping that changes sometime soon. Season 2's hero may be African-American. I am crossing my fingers for that. But because it would just be nice. I can't believe we don't have an African-American. I think that's insane for a game that's been around for 10 years. That's that's a bit much. But yeah, it is a bit upsetting that Orisa and Doomfist are our only glimpses into like Africa as a continent. But hey ho, what can you do? Well, you could make more heroes, but that's besides the point. Anyways, with my confused compliments, my disappointment that Orisa is not used more, done and dusted, I would like to now move on to talking about Orisa's gameplay and abilities. Please do keep in mind that I use OBS to record my footage and gameplay, or my audio and footage simultaneously. So please do keep in mind I may sound a little bit different in the transition. I do apologize that in advance, but with all of that said, let's now talk about Orisa's gameplay and abilities. Right, so here we are in the ever so lovely and ever so helpful training range to talk about Orisa's gameplay. Now, I've had to sum up Orisa's gameplay in one or a couple set of words: unstoppable force and immovable object, all in one. But we'll get to that as we get to it. Anyways, as I always like to do, I'll start with passives. Due to her role as a tank, less ultimate is given by healing and damage received, and you get increased base health in role queue game modes. This makes it so enemies get less ult charge by shooting you, and what's healing reduction from damage taken? I think is that like the reduces the healing reduction that everyone does? I don't remember. I do not remember. I know the enemies get less ult charge off you. I don't know the healing reduction thing. Anyways, she's part of the sub role known as bruisers, where you get a resistance to critical hits and you move faster whilst at critical health. That does need to be changed though. They changed the bruiser sub role in mid-season. They made it so you move faster while at half health or under. It's not critical health. You don't have to be, you know, with a red thing around your screen. You just need to be below half health and you'll get the bonus move speed. The bonus move speed is 20% and the critical damage resistance is minus 25%. Decent. I think Orisa, I like to give my take on whether these characters fit in the roles. I think Orisa does fit into the bruiser role very nicely. Because some people say, oh, she should be a stalwart, but oh my god, she would not even need the passive in the slightest. Knockback and slow resist when she has an ability that makes her immune to all CC. Yeah, no, she don't need that. I don't want her to be even harder to push or move in any way, shape, or form. Please don't. Anyways, moving on to her actual kit, we have the augmented fusion driver, which is her primary fire weapon. It is a automatic heat-based weapon. So you do not reload with this in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't have like a ammo count or anything. It works off a heat system, which, to show what that actually looks like, when you are shooting, you'll build up heat, as shown as a bar next to your cursor. And if you get to max heat, the weapon will overheat, and you'll have to cool it down over the period of, what, 1.5 seconds? To actually tell how long it takes. It's a 3-second overheat cooldown. So you do want to kind of like balance how many shots you shoot, if that makes sense. Like, you want, say for example, you're fighting someone, you want to shoot them a bit, and as you're kind of reaching the overheat bar, you kind of want to just stop and let it cool down a little bit. Or maybe mid-firing, just kind of stop. And you kind of like shoot in bursts to keep your heat kind of cooled down in a weird way. Either way, each shot does 14 damage, and she does get the benefit of double damage on crit shots. She has, you know, true critical. It takes 50 shots to overheat, and there is a 53% dissipation per second. So, for example, if I built up to about halfway of the bar, it will go down very quickly. So yeah, it's easy to not overheat, and you do want to, but like it's easy to not overheat and to overheat, if that makes sense. Like you can, you know, be caught in the moment and just be shooting as much as you wish, just for you to accidentally overheat, and then you die because, well, 3 seconds where you can't shoot anyone. That hurts. I'm going to be completely honest with you. So yeah, it's just kind of a game of balancing how much heat you have and making sure that you're not overheating like in every single fight you get into. Sometimes it's worth overheating if you think you can get a kill and, you know, risk, you know, the overheat, but most of the time you do want to just kind of like get to the 75% mark of the bar, like where the red area is, and just kind of like stop for a bit and go back to shooting, and stop for a bit and then go back to shooting. Yeah, I'm sure all of you understand what I mean. But her primary weapon is quite good. Like the damage it deals is, you know, pretty decent. The fact it does, you know, double damage on headshots makes it quite formidable against, you know, well, it just makes it quite formidable. Her primary weapon is good. Like, this is, you know, pretty decent damage for a tank, especially on body shots. And this is very good damage for a tank with headshots. Like, it's a very good weapon. It's worth noting, though, that it is what I like to call pseudo hit scan, or yeah, pseudo hit scan. I think that's what I call it. Maybe I've used the term before. I think it's where like it is a projectile weapon, but the bullets are so fast they might as well be hit scan. Orisa, I think, kind of suffers from it more than she benefits from it. Like, it feels like the travel time is so fast, it might as well have just been hit scan, because it being so fast can throw me off a little bit, just personally. Like, say someone's like moving side to side and I'm trying to track them. Sometimes I'll shoot ahead of them, but because the bullets fly as fast as they do, I end up missing them. It's like, it makes me think, why is this not just a hit scan weapon then? Like, but I know why, because they don't want to just sniping people from, you know, max range. She doesn't actually have any damage fall off in the slightest. So, yeah, it's worth noting that. But yeah, her primary weapon is pretty good. Does good damage, especially for a tank. And yeah, I like it. I think the heat mechanic is quite unique. It's something different. She used to have, you know, just like a normal ammo system. I swear she had like 100 bullets in her gun or something. It was kind of stupid. Orisa is one of those characters who, in the jump from Overwatch 1 to 2, or, well, that doesn't really exist anymore, but you know what I mean. When we jumped from Overwatch 1 to 2, she got like a complete and utter rework, because she was a real problem child. She was, she's one of the main proprietors of why we now only have 1 tank instead of 2. And yeah, she had a whole kit changed. Like, her ult is different. She has 2 completely different abilities. The only thing that even survived the transition was Fortify, because even her weapon got changed to work on a heat system. So yeah, she's one of the few characters who got like a major rework with Overwatch 2, which is interesting. And I think the rework was probably for the better, in my opinion. But hey. Anyways, moving on to our abilities, we have the Energy Javelin, where you will throw a javelin at an enemy to stun and knock them back, and it is more effective if the enemy hits a wall. It does 70 damage at base, 40 extra if it is a wall impact, so 110 in total. The stun lasts for 4.5 seconds at base, and if you get the wall impact, it is an extra 0.4 seconds, so 8.5 seconds in total. The stun impact for the wall stun impact angle, which is a weird sentence, is 45 degrees and the knockback is 25 meters per second. Very simple ability to understand. You look at a target, you press right click, you throw a spear, and they will get stunned momentarily, and if they hit a wall, they will get stunned for longer. It is on a how long cooldown again? 7 seconds? So you want to just throw this thing out as much as you really can. Like, and it's also very good damage on top of her already pretty decent primary fire damage. Like, you can throw it whilst you're shooting as well. So, like, you can kind of, like, stun people and just secure kills on them. It's one of the easiest, like, the travel time on this is relatively fast, and you can quite easily stun people out of their ults. It's kind of, like, think of any ult where you can kind of, like, stun someone out of it, I suppose. Like, my most recent video, as of me making this one, was on Farah. She can be stunned out of her ult by Orisa's spear. Reaper can be stunned out of his ult by Orisa's spear. Cass can be stunned out of his ult by Orisa's spear. Like, it's one of the more effective stuns in the game because it's so easy to use. Like, you just look at a target, right click, throw it at them, and they'll get stunned out of whatever the hell they were doing. If you're quick enough, you can stun people like Reinhardt out of his shatter. I have had that happen once or twice, and it's euphoric when you cancel an ult just shy of them casting it. Like, or who's another good example? Mei. When you go to throw Snowball, there is like a brief half-second delay before Snowball actually comes out. Orisa, if she throws her spear quick enough, she can cancel your ult completely. So it's interesting how, like, it is a bit much sometimes. Orisa's spear does feel a bit oppressive, and she can sometimes kind of get, like, I want to say cheap kills almost. Like, she's just shooting you, throws a spear, and it's like you can't do anything. There's no counterplay to getting hit by a spear sometimes, outside of hiding behind a tank shield. But if your tank is one that doesn't have a shield, and you get hit by that spear and you splat on the wall, sometimes that's just instant death. The spear can just result in instant death. She's also very good if you can hit people out of the sky with the spear, which makes it even more oppressive. Like, the spear just feels a bit much at times. Like, it's strong, very strong. You can just kind of, like, if the Orisa's good, this is what I mean by unstoppable force. Like, Orisa can just kind of walk up to you and just kill you. And you sometimes will not be able to do anything about that. And it really doesn't feel fun to go against. I feel like that's one of the big issues that Orisa has had for her entire existence. I don't think they've ever nailed down making her fun to go against. Like, me personally, I don't enjoy going against Orisa. She has her counters, sure, but a lot of the time it does almost feel like a helpless effort. Like, I have a joke amongst, my singular friend that I have, that if in doubt, play the horse, because the horse just works, like, in everything. It doesn't matter who you're against. Like, Orisa has her counters, sure, like Reaper, I guess, counters her, but most of the time the horse just wins. Like, we look at the rest of the tank roster and how many people she can counter in some way, even just off the spear alone. How many, like, most of the initiators can be very successfully have their lives ruined just by her throwing the spear. Winston can be speared out the sky and just delay poor Hammond. All of his forward momentum countered immediately by the spear. Hazard, he tries to jump at you, speared. Doomfist, try to jump, speared. Can be speared out of his block as well. If he has his block up, Orisa can spear it and cancel his block completely, so he can't get his empowered punch. D.Va can eat the spear, and I would argue that D.Va is probably Orisa's best counter, like, probably full stop. But then again, that's honestly only because D.Va's probably the best tank in the game right now, outside of maybe Zarya. So, yeah, like, saying D.Va counters someone is not really a fair fight, because D.Va's the best tank of the whole game. So, at least right now, in my opinion. It's her, Zarya, and Domina who are kind of, like, running tie for tie as the three best in the game. In my opinion, of course. But yeah, Orisa just kind of, like, shuts a lot of shit down with a spear that's on a 7-second cooldown. It's quite easy to hit. Like, it's not difficult to use the spear in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, spear. Very good ability. Very, very good, actually. Then we move on to the immovable wall part of the description I gave her. Fortify. You gain temporary health, reducing all damage taken, and you become unstoppable. You also become critical immune, so you cannot be shot in the head and actually be critted. It is ignored by certain things, such as Unrun. Unrun can crit Orisa if she is on fire, and so can Mauna for that example. I don't know what else can crit. Any abilities to do like mini crits, I think Silver Bullet on Cass can mini crit. So that will, and damage over time effects can still affect her. She gets 100 over health when using it, and she gains a 45% damage reduction across the board for almost everything. Oh, no, for everything. It lasts for 4 seconds, and there is a 10% movement speed penalty when using it. And for those that don't know, Unstoppable makes it so you are completely immune to displacements, hack, hinder, knockbacks, sleeps, stuns, and tethers. Any negative CC in the game, she's not going to care. She doesn't care. She can get hacked, doesn't care. Flashed, doesn't care. Speared by a fellow Orisa, doesn't care. If Doomfist tries to punch her when in golden form, he will fall to her feet, stunned, and she does not care. Reinhardt tries to charge her, doesn't care. When in Fortify, Orisa is the most unstoppable force and the biggest immovable wall in the whole game. Nothing can stop her. She can't be. Do you understand how strong this is? Like, just to show what it looks like, you press shift, you go golden, you get a bit slower, but you are immune to anything and everything in the game. The damage reduction is absurd, like 45% damage reduction. That's really high, and she gets the extra over health as well. She's already got 600 health. And half of it's armor, so she has damage reduction from this anyways. Like, look, you get, what is it? Health that reduces damage by 7 if greater than or equal to 14. Huh? I thought it was just kind of damage reduction. Reduces damage below 14 by 50%. Reduces beam damage by 30%. I actually didn't know that was how armor worked. By 7 if greater than or equal to 14. So all damage done to her, if higher than 14, is reduced by 7. So if something did 20 damage, it would actually do 14. No, 13. No. Huh? I don't... This is the first time I've ever actually got, like, stumped by a description in Overwatch. Well, either way, armor is damage reduction in a way. So half of her health is that, and she gets Fortify, and she's got the additional damage reduction on top of that, and she's immune to every CC in the entire game. It's a bit much. She can counter so much bullshit. Again, to use some of the other members of the tank roster as an example, D.Va does a lot of her damage through headshots with her primary fire. Orisa's immune to that. Anything Doomfist tries to do, immune. Like his punch, he gets stunned, like as if he hit another Doomfist who was punching. Reinhardt, stunned on thingy. Rock from Sigma doesn't work. Junker Queen's knife pull doesn't work. Dominus push doesn't work. Hazard, anything he does, the slash, the wall, don't work. Wrecking Ball's entire kit doesn't work. Like his slam, if he hits Orisa who's in Fortify, when he's like spinning around, he will just stop, like all forward momentum, lost. Roadhog, can't pull her. Mauna can't step on her. And we can just go on and on. Any CC you think of, like Mizuki recently introduced, he cannot tether her, or what's it called? Bind her with the thingy, his tether thing. What's it called again? I forgot. What's it called? Chain, the binding chain. Yeah, he can't bind her or anything. Fika, Jetpack Cat, can't like bump into her or anything. So yeah, she just becomes a complete immovable wall. And that gives her the free reign to use her very oppressive offense with her spear and her primary weapon, which does good damage. You just go and just walk forward, and there's not much no one can do anything about it. It only gets worse in terms of, you know, the whole unstoppable force with javelin spin, where using your javelin you will spin and destroy projectiles and block any melee attacks whilst also pushing forward or pushing enemies away, as well as increasing your movement speed in the forward direction. To show what that obviously looks like, you press E and you will spin your javelin and fly forward, and anything that is shot at you or, you know, any melee attacks thrown your way when you're spinning the javelin are completely negated. They are destroyed. It's basically like D.Va's defense matrix or Sigma's black hole. However, I do believe does she block beams? I don't remember. Yeah, it's pierced by beams, yeah. So she can't block like Sim or Zarya's beams when using this, but like you just walk forward. Like Orisa's whole game plan is just fortify, spin forward, and just just walk all over the team. And Javelin Spin is just like another way to do that. You can quite easily displace people using it as well. Like if you're fighting someone and you pin them to a corner, you can just like what do you do in that situation? Like say you get speared by Orisa. What do you do in that situation if she just like runs at you and pushes you in the corner? Like what do you do here? You just kind of have to like accept your fate and die. there's nothing you can do. It feels, again, it doesn't feel fun to fight Orisa. I don't think they'll ever make her very fun to fight against outside of, I don't know how they ever would. It's just like she does her job well. Like she's meant to be this unstoppable force, but she's also an immovable wall as well. But it's like I don't find her fun to fight against. I find her fun to play as. She's just the go-to. Oh, I can't be bothered to really think about what I am actually meant to do against this person. I'm just going to swap to Orisa because she just, in some way, shape or form, counters everyone. Even her counters, like Reaper, I would argue is a counter for her. She counters him as well. She can spear him and just push him away from her. She can block his offense. Any headshot damage he wants to deal, she can just negate that. Just like even someone like Reaper, who would be good into her, is still kind of weak against her. She can still work well. I don't think Orisa, even now, has a true, proper counter to her existence, which does feel, I guess, like, I suppose, like, say, Annie, like, Anna's anti-healing grenade, I guess that's kind of a counter in some way. And I would argue that Ram, actually, like, or Ramatra, works quite well into Orisa for some reason. I think it's because he just can also match her in that offensive and defensive capability. Like in Nemesis form, Ram can just block her Orisa's like overwhelming offense, and if he needs to, apply that pressure back onto her. Though he is also susceptible to being speared out of his block state. He can obviously get pushed around as well. His Ravenous Vortex doesn't work on her if she's in Fortify. It's just like Orisa she just is stupid. It's just stupid. Javelin Spin is a good ability. You just, walk forward. The damage it doesn't really matter because the whole point of it is just walk forward and block everything that they shoot at you to get in close to shoot people yourself, spear them, fortify, etc., etc. And the movement speed bonus does counteract the fortify movement speed penalty, so you get 10% movement speed bonus. So it's like even Fortify's one negative trait can be countered by a different ability that she has. Stupid. Anyways, moving on to probably the weakest part of her kit, Terror Surge. You sweep in enemies and anchor down, gaining the effects of Fortify and charging up a surge of damage. You can use your left click to unleash the surge early. At max charge, it will deal 500 damage, which is a lot. That is a one-shot to anything that isn't a tank in 5v5, at least. It has a radius of 10.5 meters for the pull, and then 8.5 meters for the actual damage it does. It does do damage over time, 18.8. You get all of the effects of Fortify, so the damage reduction of 45%, the overhealth of 100. There is an enemy move speed penalty when they are being, pulled in, minus 30%. Takes 4 seconds to hit max charge, and the pull/immobilize speed is 25 meters per second. Very easy. That's a lot of words for an ability where you just press Q, suck everyone in, spin your spear in the sky, and then when you're ready, you slam it down and do, a big chunk of damage to anyone that's still within the circle. Very easy to understand. You just kind of use it. You can use it. It's weird. It's a weird ultimate because a lot of the time, you probably saw it in some of my B-roll footage. I just kind of used it whenever I can. Like, I'll just charge head first. Like, that's the thing. You can use Javelin Spin, so charge in, and then just pull everyone in. It's kind of a disruptive force. You force people onto you, and it's almost like a ult that's meant to be comboed. It's a bit like a Graviton Surge for Zarya, where you kind of like pull everyone in to near you, and you can set other people up to follow up on your attack. So say, for example, one that I can think of is like run in as Orisa, pull everyone in with, what's it called again? Is it, I forget the name of it already. Pull everyone in with Terror Surge, and then, I don't know, your team's Freya will shoot a bolus shot into, you know, all of the enemies, because then that will suck them all in again, do the damage of bolus shot, and then you can slam your spear down with the extra charge time because of everyone being pulled back in by Freya. So it's like, Orisa's ult is one that you can use selfishly. You can just, like, you know, charge in, spin it around, and then just do a big chunk of damage to whoever's still there. But I feel like it's kind of designed with your team in mind. You're meant to disrupt the enemy team, kind of set your team up for doing things as well. But hey, it's a fine enough ult. Her old one was absurdly strong, way better. Absurd. For those that don't know, she used to have, what was the name of it? I think it was still called Terror Surge. I think it was called Terror Surge, but it was different. You used to put a bongo on the ground. I don't know. It is a bongo. It was like a drum. Bongo drum, I think. You put a drum on the ground, and it gave anyone that was in line of sight of the drum damage boost. Like a mercy damage boost, but I think it was like 50%. It was like a 50% damage boost to your entire team. It was stupid. Especially when you consider back in the day, she used to have a shield. So she could put her shield down and then put the bongo behind it, and just everyone on her team was just doing 50% more damage. It's like, that's stupid. I've already gone over how much damage Orisa could do. So can you imagine if she still had that? It'd be dumb. So yeah, I'm glad her ult is now kind of okay instead of absurdly strong. But yeah, it's a fun enough ult. You know, you can set things up. It's more of a setup ult than, you know, solo team wiping ability. It's kind of like what Rein's is meant to be, but Rein has the capabilities to wipe a team off of a shatter. I don't think Orisa does off Terror Surge. But anyways, moving on to our perks, we have Defense Protocol, where you regenerate 100 health per second whilst channeling Terror Surge. It's a fine perk, that's fine. I already just said I think her, you know, ult is the weakest part of her, so buffing it is, you know, I guess you could see a use in it, but I don't personally like it. Especially not when the other option is Mobile Fortification, where while Fortify is active, you no longer have a movement speed penalty. So, you know, you move at full speed, and you don't have any heat generation. So you can fire your gun all willy-nilly for, you know, the whole 4 seconds of Fortify. So what you can do is shoot a bunch, you know, shoot. Oh, I'm getting close to overheating. Fortify. And I can just keep shooting. And then it's like you can shoot for like basically 7 seconds straight, which is stupid. Very dumb. I don't think there's much of a competition between these two. I like Mobile Fortification way more. And plus, now you can get the full benefits of Javelin Spin, the 20% move speed bonus, even while Fortify's up. Even better, right? Makes her even more oppressive. Now, here's where we get something interesting with her mages. The first is known as Charged Javelin, where you can hold right-click to charge your energy javelin, increasing its knockback up to 25% and its projectile speed up to 100%. And at full power, it can actually pierce enemies. This is very good into offensive team comps. If they have a dive tank or a general dive team comp, I would suggest getting energy javelin, because you can obviously, you know, knock them back further, keep them away from your team, more successfully stun them. The piercing stuff, it won't happen often. You won't pierce multiple enemies, but it does, you know, help. And the extra projectile speed makes it even easier to hit the spear. So it's like, if you're against an offensive team, you can use the charged spear. But on the other hand, you have the protective barrier, where you take away your javelin spin for a barrier. Now, the barrier is actually very useful into, say, a defensive team. Say you're fighting another tank who has a barrier, and the enemy team is just constantly hiding behind it, or like, so, you know, Reinhardt's, Sigma's, or maybe you just need the barrier because you're taking like a bunch of damage. Maybe your supports are, you know, kind of slacking a little. Maybe you got a Zen Lucio to the support comp or something. You can take the protective barrier to make you more defensive. So you kind of get to play into one of her two pillars. Because her two pillars, as I've said, are unmovable or immovable object and unstoppable force. Charged Javelin leans into the unstoppable force. Immovable object leans into projective barrier. Or projective barrier into immovable object. You get my point. Just to show what the barrier actually looks like, you lose Javelin Spear, so you lose a bit of your offensive capabilities, but you get a barrier that's kind of like almost like a half. I don't even know how you describe the shape of it. It's just kind of like a dome. It's like a mini dome in a weird way. It's like a half circle, I guess, kind of. But yeah, it's like a relatively wide, tall barrier. You can block projectiles from above and in front and partially to the side, and you can shoot behind it and shoot for it like a Reinhardt barrier. Very strong. This is what she used to have, by the way. This is part of her base kit. She used to have just Fortify and the barrier, as well as what was the other ability? Oh, it was the ball. It was the ball that could pull people in. Yeah, no, that was stupid. I hate the ball. She used to have this orb that she could shoot out, and if it was near an enemy, when she pressed right click again, it would pull enemies near to the ball. So you could actually pull an entire team into the little ball and just set up everyone else. It was like her ult, but an ability, which is, stupid. But yeah, she used to have the barrier, Fortify, and that. Good times. Who remembers good old two barrier meta? Who remembers goats? You guys love goats, right? Yeah. You guys remember when goats was a thing? Or double barrier when Sigma came out and it was just Orisa Sigma every single game? You guys remember that, right? That was awesome, right? Yeah, no. Yeah, no, it really fucking wasn't. No one liked that. I didn't like it personally. Orisa used to get on my Orisa was frustrating back then. She was you think she's bad now? She was awfuler. Awfuler? That's not even a word. I'm making up new words because I don't like Orisa's old gameplay that much. But yeah, I like her perks. I like her major perks. That's what this is all about. I like the difference between the two of them. You can pick both of them as and when you please, and depends on what obviously you're against. But yeah, Orisa's kit is, it is good. It's strong. She feels very, very potent. I don't think there's ever been a point in time where Orisa hasn't been, a good pick. But she's kind of just annoying to go against. I don't like fighting Orisa because it always feels kind of a bit hopeless. It doesn't feel like there's any true and a surefire way to counter her in a sense. Yeah, you could say Mauna, I guess. Mauna feels like he was designed to counter Orisa, being able to damage her with crits through her Fortify, being able to ignore her spear when he does his charge, but even he can't just wipe her off the map easy peasy willy-nilly. But it's all these other tanks do get hurt by her. Just her sole existence just stops a lot of these tanks in their tracks, and a lot of these characters in general in their tracks. She's just, again, immovable object, unstoppable force. Frustrating to go against, and usually a surefire way to win a fight. There's never been a point where she's not good, at least in my experience. But anyways, with all of that said, let's now move on to talking about her design as well as her cosmetics. Now, Orisa's original design, her Overwatch classic design, is, well, a bit of a classic, really. You get it? I'll shut up. I don't know exactly how to feel about Orisa's design. She was never one of my favorites personally, but I will give her props. She has a very, very recognizable silhouette. This silhouette, perfect. This is one of those instant banger designs. You look at this, immediately you know this is Orisa. The 4 horse legs at the bottom, the kind of human upper half, very, what's it called? Centaur? The thing from Greek mythology. You know what I'm on about. And as well, the robo head with the 2 giant horns, the bongo on the back. That's what I was on about, by the way. I find it funny that they have to include that bongo into every single skin she has, even though she doesn't use it anymore. So there's nothing that she uses. I think the only place that she uses it is in Stadium. I think there's a Stadium perk where you deploy the bongo after using your ult. It's that's the only place where the bongo is used. But they have to include it because otherwise you remove a part of her silhouette, and then gameplay discussions like that happen. But Orisa's design is pretty good. I like her color scheme quite a lot, actually. I like this kind of beige browns, the sort of kind of lime greens and the yellows. I really do like the color scheme. And you've got a few insignias of Numbani across her body. This is kind of the logo of Numbani, if I remember rightly. It's got it on her leg as well. Or your leg? Yeah, I think. It's honestly kind of insane that an 11-year-old made this. I think that's actually really, really cool. And I've always been very fond of her gun. Why can I not view her gun? Why am I not allowed to? Why is there not a thing here that lets me view her gun? I can view her gun here, but I can't view it in the... Oh, right, because it's now here, I suppose. Well, either way, I like her gun quite a lot. I like this kind of sun motif here with all the bits of green. I like how it works. Like these 3 little pistons push against the segments here to actually shoot out the energy. I have no idea how that works in the slightest, but it looks cool. I like when you're shooting, you can kind of just see them rotating like I think that's cool. I like it. However, I do think our Overwatch 2 design is a infinite improvement. Like one of my big criticisms, I mentioned it. It's not a big criticism, but I mentioned it during the bit on her story and stuff. I do wish it was a better representative of, you know, Africa or Numbani specifically. And I do think her new Overwatch design does a much better job at doing that. She's a bit more decorated in a way, if that makes sense. Like her cloths are a bit more like Overwatch 1 design is relatively simple. Let's be honest. Like there is not much decor or additional details on her body outside of like this cloth here and, you know, the actual bongo. But like Overwatch 2 design, this is really good. The bongo has been redesigned to have like sun motifs, and the actual bit that holds it is kind of like a backpack almost, like it's a different color shades. She has like, I don't want to get my hairstyles wrong. I don't know hairstyles very well, but this is like they've given her hair through like wires, like, dreadlocks. I know, no, that's not the right word. Either way, it is, you know, like it's a black hairstyle on a robot, which is a bit odd, but I like it. I think this looks cool. Like the wire ends as like a ponytail and stuff. Well, it's not a ponytail. I'm not good with hair. I think you can probably tell, and someone's going to correct me. Someone's going to tell me what these are. But either way, I like this. I think this is cool. Her horns have kind of been like shortened down to make way for the bits of hair as well. But now they've been added to like this hair piece that looks really, really pretty. And, you know, there's extra bit of padded armor onto her legs. Her color scheme is a bit kind of almost darker. Like instead of a beigey, almost whitish yellow, it's now kind of a firm beige. Like it is beige. It's not like wishy-washy. It's a firm color. It's got bits of brown across her. The greens are a bit more muted, but then you've still got the bright screens here, and the actual face is kind of almost armor plated now. A bit more like, yeah, there's an actual face here. I just like our Overwatch 2 design a lot. Like it just looks way better, at least in my opinion. And she's also got the spear as well, which, you know, neon green or neon lime green with bits of gold and brown here and there. Her Overwatch 2 design is really pretty. And even her gun got a huge improvement. I love the more detailed sun motif on it. And just, well, it's not a huge improvement, but like, it's similar to her original gun, but I still like it more. And the bits of added green help. But yeah, I like her her Overwatch 2 base design, or just Overwatch now. I like this design a lot. She does have a mythic. She does. She really does. Unfortunately, this mythic came out at a very unfortunate time. For those that don't know, after season 6 of Overwatch, so Anna's mythic, they went through a lot of troubles. A lot of stuff behind the scenes with obviously PvE got cancelled quite quickly, and there were a bunch of layoffs at Microsoft, which included quite a lot of Blizzard employees, especially those working on Overwatch, which was really, really bad. I despise it when that happens. My condolences go out to all of the people laid off, even though, you know, it's been like a year and a half, 2 years almost since all of that happened. But because of that, because all of those people kind of got fired, do I even need to say anything? Like, obviously we'll get to this mythic whenever I do a video on Hanzo, but like, this was bad. This was bad. And it's like, people dog on these 2 mythics a lot, and justifiably so. These are very bad mythics because, you know, they actually have no customization outside of different weapons. Does Hanzo even have that? Yeah, he does. Okay. Like, Hanzo just had 2 weapons and colors. He had nothing at all. And Orisa has, you know, 2 guns and 4 weapons. Ooh, or no, 4 colors. Ooh, like, yeah, these 2 are the worst mythics by far. When they said, obviously they're doing like redo mythics, like with Mercies, where they're, you know, giving characters that already have mythics new ones. They said in an interview that they were going to give mythics to characters whose initial ones weren't received well. Okay, Mercies, you had a small pocket of people, like, you know, dedicated Mercy players, shouting at the high heavens that, oh, her mythic really sucked, it didn't fit her at all. Ah! It's like, mythics aren't meant to fit the characters. Like, if they want to take a character's idea and turn it up to 11, like Mercies, sure, as long as it looks cool enough, I'm okay with it. But, you know, most of the good mythics are usually ones that kind of just do something different. Like Sigma's is where they took his idea of, you know, him controlling gravity and shit, and they just turned it up to 11 and turned it into a Darth Vader. Yeah, that's fun. Or they do something completely different. Anna, take her and turn her into a robot. It's like, they said that, but then the new, you know, the characters that are getting second mythics are Mercy, Anna, and Genji. Why the hell is Genji getting one? Genji's got the best mythic ever. Like, his is the one that set the standard. He set the bar, and no one has crossed him since. Aesthetically, if you don't like it, I understand that. But, you know, value-wise, no one's passed Genji since his creation. No one's even come close. So why the hell is he getting one? I thought people liked Genji's mythic. Anna's I get as well. It's kind of the same situation as Mercy's, where people are like, oh, it doesn't fit her at all. It doesn't make any sense. Da-da-da. I really like Anna's mythic because, you know, Null Sector fanboy. I love, you know, Omnics and stuff. So turning a character into an Omnic for a mythic, yeah, sure, that's a win for me. But it's like, Anna's getting one? Why the hell are these two not getting one? Come on, man. Orisa's is shit. Like, it's just... It could have been really cool. Like, I'm not kidding when I say that this design for, like, this idea as her as, like, this grand beast, a monster that has gone through tribes and tribulations and stands atop the natural order as an apex predator. Like, that sounds cool. I think they could have done something cool with that. But unfortunately, she already has two skins which are, you know, bug animal themed through these two base legendaries, and it unfortunately came out at a time where, you know, the team was really struggling. They were kind of trying to find their feet again after losing so many people on the development team. Like, we could have, this could have been like this could have just been like a Monster Hunter monster. I like Monster Hunter a lot. You know, I am a new gen fan, you know. Played World, played Rise, played Wilds, love them all. And a Monster Hunter collab, ooh, I want that one day. But like Monster Hunter, you know, Orisa? That's sick as shit to me. That sounds awesome. But it just came out at a bad time, and as a result, it just didn't get the love and attention it could have had. The sound effects and the visual effects for it are pretty good. Like, I like the sandy, dusty feel to all of them. And like, as a design, I think this design is pretty good. It just needed something else. Like, it feels like it's missing something. And it feels almost a little, what do you call it? Like a bit almost aimless in a way. Like, they're trying to go for a grand beast, but she still looks vaguely mechanical with like these tubes and stuff on her back. I think they should have gone like all in on the animal part, made her look organic instead of a weird middle in between the two. I think that could have been really, really cool. I would kill to see a Monster Hunter collab and Orisa gets... Who would Orisa even get? You know, Orisa as a monster from Monster Hunter. Kirin, maybe? Kirin Orisa would actually be kind of cool. You could add like a lightning sound effect to her spear throw or something. I settle on that. Kirin Orisa would be funny. Put some trauma into people that played Monster Hunter World. I think that would be cool. But yeah, her mythic is unfortunate. It's just unfortunate timing. It came out at a bad time. I do like it, but it's missing something. It misses the mark a little. Color schemes are nice though. These are some really, really, really pretty colors. All of them. The blue one's probably the worst, I think, because, you know, just a bit ugly on the eyes, but like all of her color schemes are really nice. Her aspects are really gorgeous. I don't know why she got the Dawn one though, because like, who out here actually buying, you know, prism things for, or aspects for Orisa's mythic? Still, She does also have a mythic weapon. This one's a bit confusing in my personal eyes. I mean, it's cute, I like it, but it doesn't really fit with like any skin she has in any way, shape, or form. I like it when mythic weapons can, you know, at least fit with a skin. Like, that's why I don't like Soldiers. Soldiers does nothing for him at all, and it doesn't fit any skin he has. It stinks. It's the most forgettable mythic next to like Kiriko's mythic weapon, in my opinion, of course. But Orisa's is really cute. I think the only thing that it really fits is like Star Sheep, maybe, kinda. It's a fine enough mythic weapon. Good. The spear's cute as well. I like the capsule idea, and I like the fact that it has an actual gambling mechanic where you can have like a rare chance of getting like a golden Pachimari. I think that's quite cute. But moving on to her actual skins, she has quite the wide array of them. She has been treated very well in Overwatch 2, at least in my opinion. Has gotten some really, really fantastic skins that do some really interesting things with her. But just to speak of some of her Overwatch 1 ones, Null Sector is a really, really awesome skin. Null Sector fanboy, of course I'm going to like it. Demon is a really cool skin. Bull Demon is a really cool skin. Like, they take her horse design and do cool things with it. And like even her original skins, like Carbon Fiber is really cool, looks fantastic. The 2 bug ones are a bit weak, but I do like them. And you also have like Immortal, which is really cool. Making her like a Scarab robot is awesome. A Forest Spirit is really cool as well. The Referee skin is quite silly. Reindeer is really, really cute. Like, she's got a really good... I think Orisa's got probably one of the strongest skin, like, catalogs of any hero in the game. Like, all of them are so good. Starsheep is fantastic. Like, look how good this is. The details of, like, the constellations on her, the planet as a stomach. Like, this is one of the prettiest skins in the game. Like, easily, bar none. And, like, Griffin is a cool idea for a skin. I don't like it as much as some other people do, but, you know, it's a really good idea. Rubber Ducky is an elite design for a skin. Unbelievably fantastic. This, like, an updated Null Sector design. Awesome. Retro Future. Hilarious with a little wiggly thing on the head. And honestly, does look really cool. The weapon for it is awesome. And even like, this is kind of a stinker. I don't really like this skin too much. I'm usually all for like the Chinese skins, but this one, not so much. Even her epics are pretty good. 8-bit's really, really cute. But like some other ones, she has like, recolor. Appa from Avatar Last Airbender. I think it's a really good choice. Really looks lovely. And, well, funny enough, she hasn't actually gotten a new skin since Beyond. What have we got? Rainy Ducky, which was a pretty good recolor. And Dream Sheep, which is also... It's like... I can't give compliments to recolors because usually it just takes the qualities of the original skin and just, you know... All of my compliments would just go to the originals. Yeah, like, Orisa's got a really good catalog of skins. Like, she hasn't really had a miss in Overwatch 2 outside of this. I'd say that's pretty good. But yeah, I like Orisa. I just hope that she gets something to do soon. On a gameplay front, I don't like going against her, but I do enjoy playing as her occasionally. I think her design and skin catalog is one of the best in the game. And story-wise, I just hope she gets to do something soon. I hope she doesn't, like, considering that Doomfist is such a big part of her, you know, backstory and lore, I do hope that with his eventual return, Orisa gets to do something. It's weird. The thing is, though, because the end of the day, obviously the idea would be, you know, Orisa beats Doomfist and proves herself as the protector of Numbani, but Doomfist has already been defeated. So I actually think what could be an interesting plot development is Doomfist winning against Orisa, actually, like, just destroying her, and just the fallout of what, you know, we can't just have a story without any form of sacrifice, right? How about to prove his newfound strength, he destroys the thing that was created to counter his existence, and then beat Vendetta? That would be cool, right? Anyways, that's just me speculating, or hoping. Anyways, with all of that said, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do comment, like, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, whether it be a good morning, afternoon, evening, etc. And because we are at the end of the video, you know what time it is. It's time to spin the wheel once more. Let's show... Oh, unfortunately, all of the characters are selected. Let's just unselect the characters that I have not covered. Trying to remember who I have and haven't covered, using my brain very quickly here. Far has been done, and every single support is done. Okay, so we have 27 heroes here available, ready to be picked, chosen from, and they will be, whoever is picked will be the next video I make. So let us spin the wheel and see who we end up on. The fat hamster. The fat hamster. Okay. Well, it looks like you're going to get to see some of my worst gameplay yet. I can't play Wrecking Ball to save my life, so I do apologize in advance for how shit the B-roll is probably going to be. Well, there you have it. Wrecking Ball will be the next video I make. Well, Hammond. I'm going to call him Hammond. And I shall see you in the next video on the Fat Hamster Hammond.